Hey there, and welcome back to Mr. Van's tutorial on how to write good term papers. We're just looking at the body paragraphs now. You'll notice I'm inside the exemplar essay that I posted before. In a previous one we talked about the introduction, which is here, and whether or not you wanted to use a vocabulary paragraph, which is here. For this one we're looking at the body paragraphs. In the first term paper you're doing 1,000 to 1,500 words, so you're looking for about five to six paragraphs on about 3 points. In the second one, you can still go with 3 main points, but you should probably have more to 2 to 3 paragraphs each one then, making your total more like 6, 7, 8-ish paragraphs total to get up to that 1,500 to 2,000 word count. You can do this with more main points as well. It's entirely up to you. And the order you put them in is also entirely up to you. I generally recommend that you put your strongest on the outsides and what you believe is the weaker on the insides. So first and last being your best points as far as you can see. Just want to point out a couple things. The first one is at the beginning of each of the body paragraphs, you'll notice there's going to be a topic sentence. This is an opportunity for you to also link in a transition from the last paragraph. So this one, building off the vocab paragraph, says World War I introduced weapons of destruction never seen before. Based on that sentence, the reader should be able to tell what you're going to be talking about. There shouldn't be any surprises. So as we look past that first topic sentence, you'll notice that as we scroll down here, I've highlighted a comment for a sentence that shows evidence. It's going to be really crucial in your term paper because you're making an argument for a case that you're able to supply a lot of evidence. A lot of this will have to be with citations, like you can see the Strachan one here. And there's another video on how to do proper citations bibliography, which you can check out. But it's going to be really important that you build arguments. Generally, what you want to do is introduce the argument. You want to then provide the examples and the stats. And then you want to follow it up with what that actually means. So to take through an example here, we've got generals on both sides of the battlefield were employing machine guns as an effective way to tear down approaching troops who had gone over the top of their trenches. That's going to build into the actual examples. You'll see one, for example, here. Artillery shells would often hit the ground, causing massive collateral damage. Shrapnel, the pieces of metal that would explode out from a shell, killed millions of men in the First World War. And then the citation. That's the evidence, which is backed by scholarly work. And then we go into what this actually means. Men who were shot down in no man's land between the trenches were unreachable because of the snipers and machine gun fire that awaited anyone who went in to help a comrade. So that's the significance. It's the most important part that ties together the intro to your information, the actual facts you've pulled out, and then this is the significance. Why does it matter? And it goes back to your thesis. Pretty much everything in an argumentative essay or term paper goes back to your thesis. Just a couple notes. You'll notice it finishes with a bit of a conclusion sentence. Even within body paragraphs, you've got that topic introductory sentence like we saw up here. You've also got a closing one. So as a result, men lay on the scorched earth for hours while they painfully awaited death. All right. So that talks about bringing it all full circle. Here we're going to have our next paragraph's topic sentence / transition. As painful as some of those deaths were, linking to the previous one, they paled in comparison to the brutal effects of another weapon introduced in the First World War, chemical warfare. So we tie together the first part right here, and then we introduce the next part. So that's a pretty good example, if I may say so myself, of putting together information from the previous paragraph with what you're going to talk about in the second one. And if you look inside this one, you're also going to find evidence of setting up facts, releasing the facts, and then talking about the significance of the facts. So it's just those 3 things over again and again and again, and that builds your paragraphs. Here's another ending transition. You'll see it builds on the last thing, and then it builds into the next one. So that's pretty much what you want to be doing with your body paragraphs, is make sure you've got transition in and out of each one. Look to have between 6 and 8. And try to remember that you want to build into your facts, you want to provide the facts, and then you want to give the significance of the facts. All right, thanks a bunch.